All right, we're just waiting on Loyalty to come back into the room. Hold on a second.
Okay. They didn't want me to be great, but the devil is a liar. We don't trust him anyway. Well, we don't trust that old hater, as my sister say. You
That's
got
right.
everybody saying that. You got
With
to
his
give it to
with
she
his
be like, oh,
ugly
that old
self.
tie hater
With his ugly self.
with his little ugly self. You got everybody saying it. I even be
Listen.
hearing Coach K say it too.
It's real, honey. You'll be walking through the day sometimes, like, you know what, get your little ugly self on away from me with your hating self. Like, you know.
Okay, so we live, sister. Look, and we talk.
It's all
That
right.
is gonna be good for the feed, but we talking about that
Oh,
devil
look,
because he is a liar.
That's right.
when nobody
But
cursing or
welcome.
being disrespectful.
No. Mm-mm.
So yes, let's restart. Okay, so welcome. We are on the Loyalty and Friends podcast, and we have a special guest today. This is my sister, you all, man, my sister in Christ. I feel like that's my sister from another mister for sure. And yes, I want to introduce her properly. So this is my sister Chavez. Some of y'all may know her as Shay, but we want to really embrace her real name because there's power in names, and I think her mom did an amazing job with that queen's name. So yes, this is Miss Chavez Walker. And yes, let's give him a brief introduction. Let's get into it, Queen. I'm ready.
Okay, so I am Chavez D. Walker. Let me say Miss Chavez D. Walker, because sis is happily married. Thank you, Jesus.
That
Okay,
part.
so I am an author. I wrote and published my first book last year, August 4th. 2022. What it do? And the title is Refined. It's a guide to accept and release the things that no longer serve you.
I love it. I love it. So yes. So for you all who missed part one of the interview, I do encourage you all go to Instagram. Go to Instagram Live. It's about 10, no more than 15 minutes max. But she kind of gave like the background and just kind of what inspired her. But I want to kind of go a little bit more deep on this part of the interview, because we talk about trauma, we talk about going through the trauma wounds that we a lot of us have experienced, and of course my motto is you got to be able to heal from the womb, from within and all the way through. So with that being said, can you share some of the traumatized things that you had to experience and how you persevered through those situations?
Absolutely. So all of it has played an absolute part in my life, but I think the most profound journey for me is my relationship with my mom. And I use the word profound because, when after you go through the valley and you get to the other side and you go like, wow, God, you were doing all of that to do this, right? So it was just a setup to come back and be even stronger than before. And so I will talk about, like, I love the fact that you said, there is trauma from the womb because our parents, both mom and dad, although our moms carry us, but don't forget our dads are the ones that leave the seed, And so when you've got a seed that's entering into a victimized, traumatized wound, you produce greatness. Like you're the coach of courage, you know what I'm saying? But in all of that, we are all just trying to parent from a broken place, and no household that I've ever heard about has been absolutely perfect. Even the ones that have the front, we know that there are some things that people are wrestling in the background. And so the one that's been most profound with me, like I said, was the relationship with my mom, recovering from the misunderstanding and the misinterpreted love. So when you've got a parent that's holding on for dear life, I'm the only child. My mom only had one baby and I'm her baby. So you've got a mom that's overbearing, overprotective, and traumatized and broken inside, trying to parent and protect against everything. And then you got a Leo for a daughter that's dominant, that is determined to figure out the why behind the no, you know? And so that tore some stuff up. You know, I kind of lit a fire in the house. I set the house on fire. I burned my own house down because I didn't understand how to properly honor my mom. I didn't know how to honor her because I was sitting in a seat of, if you didn't do this, I wouldn't do this. That's disrespectful. And so, you know, when you don't have a firm foundation, I'm not going to say the wrong grounding, but you've got a mom that's left to figure things out on her own. And then, you know, we endured some things with alcoholism. That has been something that has been passed through my family. It didn't just hit home, you know, with my mom. It's just a thing. It's been a generational thing that's been recycled. And, you know, you start to flee when you think you have to protect your peace, not realizing you really do have to run to prayer to fix it all, you know? And so I was a daughter that thought living independent of my mom was the best for me. And because I was so angry for misinterpreting the love, I would walk around telling people that my mom was dead. I told people that my mom was dead for 10 whole years because, like, in my mind, because of me not being able to understand where she was coming from, you know, I took all of that, not realizing she was drinking to silence her pain. And then there were times where I felt like she was drinking to tap into her courage so she could really speak and to speak her mind, you know, but all of it felt like an attack to me.
So I want to kind of, you know, chime in just a bit because you mentioned something even about you telling people that your mom was dead. Like, did she know that you were doing that, and how did it affect her as well? Because I mean that seems a little hurtful because I think about me as a mom and if my children was doing that, you know. But I get it because you was going through your pain as well, you know.
Feeling like I was like allowing myself to believe I was embarrassed by my mom, you know, that led me to that road. And so you get on the other side of that thing and it's like, you know, so I don't have to answer the questions or I don't have to talk about it, because what happened, I would trust people and I would confide in them. And then I would take them around my family. And then when people get, you know, when you fall out with people or whatever you want to call it, what do?
They want to throw it back at you.
They go back and throw it back at you. But then not only that, they go out and they speak to the masses about you and they drag what your intimate stuff, you know. And so to avoid having any conversations and just fleeing from having to think about it and talk about it, that was what I came up with. You know, that was what I came up with because I just didn't want to deal with it. And I wanted to act like it never existed. So this, you know, to reflect on how it affected her. You know, now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, oh my God, I just got done apologizing to her for something I just remembered about my behavior when I was like 21. I was like, Mom, you know, I was really thinking, I just want to tell you I love you and I'm sorry. And I just sent you some Big Daddies by Uber, by DoorDash. So, you know, I'm so grateful that I did not have enough power to speak my mom off this earth. I'm so grateful that God had a different agenda and he's allowed me new opportunities to give her flowers while she's here. And even in this, I don't feel like I'd ever give her enough. You know what I mean? But being able to get over the brokenness and understand like, wow, you know, we go through some stuff and we're not going to always sit down and want to just vomit it all on our children. So we're going to misinterpret the love. We don't understand their struggles. We don't understand their journeys.
Right.
And that generation of people were taught to be quiet. What happens in this house stays in this house. You don't go telling my business. Don't you tell nobody what happened here.
Absolutely.
So what do? You start to bottle that stuff in at a very early age, and then you believe that this is the way. And before you know it, you're explosive. And then you are ready to, and what happens? You blow up. Yeah.
On others. And that just sounded very familiar with me. My mom, on the other end, was not affectionate. So she wasn't the loving mom to say, "Oh, I love you." And if I would say it to her, the rebuttal or what the response I would get back would be more of, "I ain't gay," or it's like she wouldn't say the words. She wouldn't be huggy or anything, and it made me question me a lot. Like, what's wrong with me? What did I do? Like, why does she hate me? I felt like my mom hated me, but it wasn't until I became an adult she started to open up and share some of the trauma she went through. And I'm like, well, why you didn't tell me this thing? Because you made me feel like something was wrong with me. And that's why I think it's important that mothers and daughters, I mean, just parents in general, need to really talk with their kids, let them know the things that they went through. I know it can be difficult, and that's the thing. I'm not secretive with my kids. I give it to them raw and uncut because I want them to truly understand me, understand the journey I was going through at the time. I was a young mother. I was 17 being a mother. So a lot of things I didn't know, I learned them along my path. You understand? But my intentions were always good for them. I always loved my kids. And yes, they have said some hurtful things to me, and I'm pretty sure I probably done said some things that probably crushed them as well. But we are all individuals, and we are all on our own separate paths as well. Even though they're our children, they belong to Him, they belong to God. And that's what I have to constantly remind myself. Like, yes, He lent them to me for me to train them in the way that they should go. But at some point, you got to give them back to the maker. You have to. And I think, yeah, as parents, sometimes we don't know how to release and let go. So I definitely understand that. And I love your mom because her grace, she showed a lot of grace. And it's obviously you all still have an amazing relationship to this day. So that's a beautiful thing to see that you were able to get on the other end of that and repair that relationship. I love that. That's beautiful, Queen.
I called it profound, and this is what what just embellishes all of that and brings out the beauty in the journey. And me allowing God to realign and do a new thing in my heart, right? And so I've been able to just love my mom. I get excited when I want to see her, but the beauty in the journey and what's made it profound is I have 3 children. My first daughter, we don't realize the power we truly have in the tongue. How many times have you heard, that's all right, you're gonna have a daughter or a son one day, and guess what? That he gonna give it to you 10 times over. How many
10
times?
times over. Boy.
But think about the power in that. Think about the curse. We're cursing the relationship.
Right.
Because of something that appears to be so innocent. And here's the thing, it's the mindfulness, because they're letting you know that's the wisdom. Okay, what you do unto me, you gonna get back. Like, whatever you sow in, you gotta reap a full harvest for. And I get all the wisdom in it, but I've actually gotten in the middle of this thing now that I'm able to identify and see the reflection of myself and my oldest daughter and some of her behaviors and her mannerisms. I handed her back to God when she graduated high school. Absolutely. And here's the thing. Being able to restore, and I'm going to say restore, I'm reaching to say restore the relationship with my mom. It helped me give grace, extend grace to my daughter and forgive her and extend mercy to her. While she, that's my baby girl, while she navigates and goes along her journey, and mommy gonna be right here ready when she, finds her way home. And because that's what we do. We find our way back to the Father, right? We find our way back to God. And so I trust the same thing. Your children will find their way back home, But you've got to learn to extend grace and mercy, forgive them, and just love them without conditions while they figure it out.
All right. So I want to ask one other question, and we're going to wrap this up. And you all, I would love for you all to join us on Clubhouse as well, because it's going to be more Q&A, and you can also engage in the conversation. Okay. So you don't have to just hear us speak about it. I want you all to come in, tap in, be a part of this, because I got questions for sure. I got more questions. And of course, you all will get to see those or hear those questions on Clubhouse. It is an audio platform, so it's not visible. You'll see our PTRs, as we call them, like pictures on the profile, but you won't see us like interacting lively outside of the voice. But do you talk about a lot of these things within your book?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm telling you all, make sure y'all purchase the book, and you can find the book, I think, on Barnes and Noble. I know it's on
all platforms.
Amazon. Yes. Mm-hmm. So y'all tap in, go to her website, which is Coach of Courage. Okay. 𝒂𝒑𝒊𝒔, man, and support. I've purchased the book, man. She has this, she's just such a light. And because I was so inspired, I felt like I just had to go purchase this book, man. And so if you're on your path and you want to go through your healing journey, man, this is how we heal. Okay. We want to refine these relationships with people, make sure we're healing from the womb out, from the inside out. Okay. It's so important, because once we do our healing, then that will give us the power not to bleed on others and take that trauma into our daily lives. So, Queen, I love you, Shay. I love you. Look, I'm calling you Shay now, because look,
that's my homegirl too.
But this is Miss Chavez, Mrs. Chavez. Okay?
That's right.
Respect on that. And yes, she's happily married, beautiful husband, and I'm telling you, this is the first of many conversations. I definitely think we should do this maybe in another month or so, just to kind of get them more of the story, let them know how marriage life is, and what that journey looks like, and just some other things, about you and your journey, so we can inspire others. So thank you, my sister. Again, y'all, make sure y'all support. We love you. If you were late coming, or make sure you share this. Okay, like, comment, subscribe. We want to grow this community for sure. So make sure you share, and you can also go back and rewatch it. Okay, because she definitely dropped some gems. But right now we're going to Clubhouse. Join us over there on Clubhouse. The link is in the bio for sure. And hey, that's all I have for now. Okay, until next time, I will see you all next Friday for another amazing interview. Okay, so thank you, my sister.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
all
8 p.m. We got 10 minutes.
All right.
Bye, y'all.